It's acres and move makers.
It's acres and move makers.
I deal with land flippers, acres and move makers, room shakers, big boys with huge paper, the newspapers. You can run but can't escape us. We winning with these flash green when they act racist. Success is so contagious. Let's go.
It's acres and move makers.
Welcome to Acres and Move Makers. My name is Ray.
My name is Jay.
And we are
Acre Boys.
Today, we want to talk to you about a powerful thing that we use in our business, and that is called neighbor letters.
For sure. There's a whole different, there's so many different ways that we use the market to people that actually want to buy these properties, right? Sometimes we go through land brokers. Sometimes we post Facebook Marketplace, Zillow, Redfin, all of these different kind of things in order to get the property sold, right? But here's one thing that people tend to forget about, and they forget about it all the time, right? And that is what we call, the name of this topic is called neighbor letters. Now, here's the thing, right? Through our data that we've collected, the number one person that is interested in what you have to actually offer, which is that piece of land, are people that are in the natural vicinity of that subject property, right? Because keep in mind, they've been riding these blocks. They know this town or wherever you at like the back of their hand. So those are the people that are going to have the best interest or most interest out of those. Inside of a mile or 2 mile radius, that's mostly where you're going to find your actual buyers for these properties. So here's what we do. We use data. We told y'all all before, land business is a data-driven industry. So we use data in order to get some offers out to people who we think may have a general interest in that property. So what we'll do is we'll mail, let's just say a mile and a half of all the people that are inside of that general vicinity, let them know that we have a property that is near them for sale. And even if they wanted to act on it fast, before we take it to the general market, before we give it to a land broker, before we list it on Zillow, we'll go ahead and give them what we call first right of refusal, right? So that letter will come in, they'll open it up and say, hey, we have a street on the street of blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. This property is for sale. Once we list it for sale, we're going to sell it for $105,000. We know you live in the area and we know that you may have use for this property. We'll go ahead and reduce it for $96,000, but you can only take advantage of that offer if you go ahead and jump on it before it actually goes to market, right? So powerful, powerful thing once you understand neighbor letters. Neighbor letters are extremely powerful, and I'll give you another example before I actually turn it over. We had one person one time, and this was a very well-to-do part of Arkansas. It was an infill lot, right? So here's what happened. We bought a property way under market value, whatever the case may be. We knew it was a good deal. We said, you know what? Before we put it on the market, like we said before, let's go ahead and put out neighbor letters as far as that's concerned. The person that's directly next to the property that we actually purchased actually called us back. I believe him and his wife were doctors or whatever the case may be. And this is one of the craziest things that ever happened to us, and it does happen from time to time. But they bought the property just because they didn't want somebody else putting a structure next to their property. So they didn't have any intended use for it or whatever the case may be. They only bought the property to ensure that nobody else. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just to make sure that nobody would build something next to them. So you never know why somebody's going to actually buy the property. It could be them for use it, not use it. But once somebody gives you over the money, it's not up to you anymore what they're going to use it for when they're paying you for the property. So those are some of the powers of actually contacting the neighbors in order to get your land sold.
So yeah, neighbor letters, highly, highly effective. As Jay stated, the person that you're looking for lives in that general vicinity. Common sense. The people that live in the area, they know the area the best. The highest use is going to be from somebody in that area or in the general vicinity of that property. That's why we tell people all the time, there's no bad place to buy land in. You know, people say we were buying properties for $50, $100, $200, and I saw online people had commented and like, yeah, they're in some of the worst areas ever. So you don't think those people that live there want to buy it? then you're mistakenly wrong if that's your thought, if that's your belief. Yeah, sure, it's not Melrose Place. Yeah, sure, we're not selling it for $25,000 if you paid $200 for it. But if you paid $200 and you're selling it for $2,000, $2,500 to those people in that area, that's a price that they could afford. And that property in that area is in high demand for them. It may not be for somebody that lives in Beverly Hills. No, they don't want to come down here to this area that's not considered to be a good area. But those people that live in that area that's not to be considered a good area, it's valuable to them.
Sure.
They can find something to do with it. Now, how do we make them aware that the property is on sale? Neighbor letters. It's one way. Neighbor letters. Neighbor letters is equivalent to slapping a sign in front of the land and letting people know that it's on sale. If you don't get out there to put a sign that's in front of it, neighbor letters. Get it out to them. It'll hit their mailbox, and then they'll become aware of it. And that's how you keep it a little discreet as well, without putting a sign in front of the yard. Just let them get a personalized letter with their name on it. Hey, Mr. Smith. Hey, Miss Johnson. I have a property for sale that's in the general vicinity of yours. We're wondering if you have some interest. As Jay stated, we'll do some type of special discount for you being one of the neighbors in the area. And before we put it on the market, we'll discount it to you. Excellent, excellent play. So if you're not in our community and if you're doing this on your own, don't forget about the surrounding areas of whatever county that you're playing in, because that's where you're going to find your buyer.
Yeah, that's for sure. Most definitely. You got to keep in mind, y'all. Everybody, even if the property was listed on some of these platforms, right? Zillow, Redfin, all of these different things where it could be listed at, right? You got to remember that a lot of people, especially the older generation, are not computer people, right? So the odds of some of those people, which might be your target demographic for that property, may not even be seeing it because it's not positioned properly. What you want to do is you want to exhaust all of those resources, right? And once you exhaust all those resources, you are going to find your buyer, whether it's through a land broker, whether it's through Zillow, Redfin, Lands of America, whatever the case may be, you'll find a buyer. But here's the thing about it. What's so powerful about those letters, right? What if you didn't actually have to go ahead and use a land broker or a land realtor in order to sell that property, right? So that's another a key jewel to do that too, right? When you send out those offers, remember, and they actually correspond back to you, you don't have a realtor involved yet. So what does that mean? That means you don't have to pay commission if you can go ahead and strike the deal yourself. Land brokers right now typically charge anywhere between 6 to 10%. 6 for regular. If there's somebody who's high on the chain, they'll probably charge you 10%. But what if you can go ahead and get rid of that whole cost just by sending out actual neighbor letters to the people that probably want the property anyway?
Yeah, so definitely add that attribute to your investing scheme, and it'll be very helpful. I promise you, when you're selling properties, it'll be very helpful.
For sure.
So until the next time, like,
comment,
share, subscribe.
Grow this channel. Let's go, y'all.
Information useful. We'll continue to bring as much humanly as possible, as much free game as we possibly can to you. And if you're looking to come into our ecosystem, into our community, there's a number on the screen. You can definitely dial that number. Someone can get some pertinent information in front of you so you guys can make a decision of whether you want to join us
or not
in our land investing endeavors. All right. Till the next time, invest in dirt.
It's the cleanest way to make money. Peace, y'all.